Just wanted to make a quick video and stay on top of my video. I haven't been making too many kind of videos lately. I was told to take a step back. As we know, there's a whole court case going on in Waterford at the moment regarding children's group link. So I'm reluctant to say too much about it. And I know I've been very kind of outspoken previously, but I'm just waiting. And if they try and push the narrative that I've somehow prejudiced that case, you need to have me prosecuted. You need to push to have me prosecuted, being honest with you. And to be honest with you, if you don't have a solicitor or a barrister regarding that case, you should probably get one, because Waterford Gardaí are not to be trusted. When you go back, you have incidents going back for like 30 odd years. So Waterford Gardaí cannot be trusted. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Look at the Bill Keneally case. You have the same Garda station. Political influence again. So they cannot be trusted. Waterford Gardaí cannot be trusted. It's in Waterford Gardaí's interest to make all of this go away. Because if there was a guilty verdict, that would open the door to a commission of investigation. And what would come to light then would be all the kind of previous allegations and accusations and who knew what and who covered up for certain people. And not only did they cover up, but the person went on to do it again, and that person went on to cover up for them again. So all that kind of stuff was potentially going to come out. Do you know what I mean? Not to mention how certain people were on the grounds when they shouldn't have been on the fucking grounds. Do you know what I mean? All of that is potentially going to come out with a guilty verdict. So like, it's in the interest of a lot of people that this case goes nowhere. But you never know. I have a lot to say about the input of this crowd, being honest with you, in Waterford. And it's gone back like since the late 80s when they interfered and prevented a case regarding Henry Halligan coming forward. Now, I don't mind talking about this. And if I do anything wrong, bring me to court. Do you know what I mean? Because they managed to have a situation played out in the late 80s. It doesn't mean it's not true. But that was only the start of it. You had stuff in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, 2000s, the 10s. And many people have tried to have their voice heard and all of this. So I'm going to come back to that. And I'm going to attach the link with this message. And that link is of Ray Halligan. Now, Ray Halligan tried to pass a threat through me. Tried to threaten me first with my wife and my daughter in the car. You can hear the video yourself. And then he tried to pass a threat through me. And it was basically tell that one giving you the information. So what would he know? I'll tell you what he knew. I was given private information, right, in messages and emails and stuff. They had been reading the emails and the messages, and they painted a very nasty picture of what was going on in Children's Group Link. And Ray Halligan jumped to the defence of certain people and tried to threaten me. And realistically, it's not even about the threat. But these people have been threatening people for years. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people involved in this, they're relying on a shooting that took place nearly 40 years ago. And they like to throw their weight around based on that. But it wasn't even about the threat, realistically, or the threat of violence or any of this. Because realistically, like, had I got out with the car, I would have probably flattened them, being honest with you. And that's what I'm more concerned about, that I do something stupid. Do you know what I mean? But that's what he was trying to do. This is what I was getting at. He was trying to provoke me into getting out of the car and doing something. And then Waterford Gardaí, they wouldn't have been long about charging me then. Because they wouldn't even look into what Ray Halligan was doing. Despite him being threatening, trying to interfere with an ongoing court case, Waterford Gardaí then said they ran out of time to take my wife's statement. Can you believe that? They ran out of time. And then they said for him to be charged and brought to court, that I would have to be charged. This is what they said. Now, we all know that's bullshit. But I said, okay, I'm fine with that. Charge me as well then. And then they said, wait, no, there's no evidence. And then they dropped everything without even looking into it. And that's how the Halligans, in a nutshell, in Waterford for 40 years have been treated by Waterford Gardaí. And that's to facilitate the ex-mayor, ex-minister John Halligan. These people are an example of the dangers of political power and influence being in the hands of the wrong people. And the board of management up at Children's Group Link also needs to be gotten rid of. If I'm being honest with you, going back through the years, you can go back through the years where they have members of their families coming and going on the board of management. That's basically, it's been run like a family-owned business. The nepotism up there is deplorable. Like, you have Brendan Halligan now handed the CEO job by his sister. Do you know what I mean? Based on what? Why did Brendan Halligan become the CEO of Children's Group Link? Is it based on his conduct? Is that really what you're saying? It's based on his conduct. So those people who place Brendan Halligan as the CEO of Children's Group Link, you're rewarding him based on his conduct. So I'm just going to leave that out there for now, because I'll come back to this whole situation at a later date. But there's a major drive to try and get people to stop sharing me videos, stop paying any heed. Like, this goes on, and I'm not willing to like make one complaint, which is what I was told. This was kind of this kind of hampered my case, being honest with you, that I wasn't willing to just make one complaint about one thing, because all of this has an influence and a bearing on the next thing. And I'm trying to explain this, and I'm getting fucking tongue-tied and using too much bad language, as I just did, and they're doing everything in that to kind of harass me on a daily basis. But that's what's going on. I don't want to get too much into this because I will sound all paranoid. That is what's been done. This was put together by Dr. Anne Carey out in Tramore, and I unfortunately got roped into this woman's religion, the Baha'i faith. And I know this all sounds crazy, and like, I was reluctant to talk about all this stuff as I am about all that kind of sex stuff, being honest with you, because I find it very embarrassing that I got even roped into this kind of stuff, being honest with you. But she recruits for the Baha'i faith, as does her husband. Now, I was in this for a year. My ex, we were together. Through her, I ended up being lured into this stupid fucking cult. And it is a cult. They tried to lock us in school down Kilkenny, and there's a whole kind of murkiness with all this kind of stuff. And I'll explain all this. It's very difficult to explain, but I'll show documentations, and I'll show you, because I have a lot of documentation I want to show regarding my ex, to what kind of a person this is. Like, it's not about spite or any kind of revenge. I met this person when I was vulnerable in the rehab. I'm sure she was the same. Like, we are not compatible. It's as simple as that. You get over it, you break up, you go your certain ways. But this person has to be the center of attention all the time. And it got to such extremes that, like, she was non-existent as a parent. I was rearing both the kids. She would just say that she wasn't maternal. She had no interest in the kids. It's as simple as that. And I want to kind of like address that whole situation, because I want to show the dangers of kind of how the courts like blindly like support women based on their gender, basically. And as I said, my ex is still in this, the Baha'i faith. She has the logo of a tattoo on her wrist. I'll show all the paperwork regarding this stuff on a later date. But over the next few weeks, I'm going to go down a kind of avenue with this kind of situation, and they're probably going to say that I'm going off my head, or I'm paranoid, or I'm threatening, or some kind of stuff. I'm not going to be breaking any laws. I'm not threatening. I'm in no way, shape, or form gone off my head or paranoid or any of this kind of stuff. I have no mental health. I have no mental health history. And unlike a lot of people in this fucking town, there's all that sexual stuff attached to my name. There's not one after alleging anything about me sexually in any way, shape, or form. Do you know what I mean? So why don't you go up and report it? If it is what it is, go up and report it. Do you know what I mean? Make you laugh. You have people with files gone to the DPP, charges and everything. And these people, they get more support in Waterford than the people who are telling the truth. But there's various organisations in Waterford, like from like Tattoos, from the Sinn Féin group, Waterford Free Squealers. Do you know what I mean? And people think that I have an issue with all these groups. I don't. There's just a handful of people within the group. So I'm going to go down a route over the next few weeks. I'm not really too sure where it's going to take me. I'm willing to face going to court or going to prison if needs be. It's not something I want to do, but like, if I have to, I will. Because I'm not willing to accept that it's all corrupt and that I could have left 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? That's basically what I said to me. I could have accepted this corruption and cut me loss 10 years ago. Accepted all the stuff that was done to me in life, and fucking all the stuff that was done to me mother and my father's funeral and stuff. When I broke up with my ex, she took it upon herself to bring Anne Carey and Pat Carey to my father's funeral. These are the two people who roped us into this weird religion thing. And now, I didn't speak to these people. I detested these people at this point, and my ex brought these two to my father's funeral, and my family didn't know, being honest with you. So there's just a lot of crazy stuff, and it's kind of despicable, being honest with you. Like, I can't even open a picture and look at a picture of my mother and father without feeling kind of the guilt that's attached to all of this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? I know this is probably weird for people that somebody's talking about something so kind of emotional, but it needs to be spoken about. All of this stuff needs to be spoken about, and if it has to be me that's going to push it out there, I'll put it out there. And just trying to get people to hear both sides of the story. They don't want you here. They're doing everything in that to prevent you from hearing both sides of the story. And just trying to get people to hear both sides of the story. They don't want you here. They're doing everything in that to prevent you from hearing both sides of the story. Do I continue arguing with all these people who are basically doing the bidding by circulating all this sexual kind of shit in an effort to prevent me from making any headway regarding the other stuff? Do you know what I mean? That's essentially what's going on in a nutshell. So like it's pointless me arguing with all these kind of people, because it's taking me further and further away from the start of all of this stuff. And Dr. Anne Carey and Waterford Tussle needs to be out with. And as for me, X up in Dublin and our fucking Hair Together program, that's my idea that she stole. It doesn't bother me, to be honest with you. I'm happy that someone's getting some kind of idea. I'm happy that someone is getting some kind of benefit from it. And to be honest with you, it kind of shows that my idea was actually a good idea. It was registered. I looked into it in 2017, I registered it in 2018, and I had to submit a business plan 3 times actually. But all that documentation is all still available, but I don't want to be getting off the subject here now at the moment. So if you can like or share my videos, I'd appreciate it, because getting an audience to get this information out there is getting virtually impossible. Do you know what I mean? And it's not because that I'm kind of like frightened to say certain stuff or anything. Do you know what I mean? I think it's pretty obvious that I'm willing to say whatever needs to be said. Do you know what I mean? But they're trying to get people to stop listening to me. That's essentially what they're doing. They can't shut me up, so they'll get people to stop listening to me. Do you know what I mean? Because this is going to impact Sinn Féin. It's going to impact Waterford Council, Waterford Gardaí, the whole Halligan dynasty, the so-called Halligan dynasty. Do you know what I mean? So I think I'm going to leave it at that. So I think I'll leave it at that there for now. If you can share the videos or like the videos, I'd appreciate it, because I'm just trying to get an audience to put this information out there. There's lots of kind of moving cogs regarding this. This is extremely corrupt, and it's probably one of the biggest scandals that's going to hit Ireland if it gets exposed. That's realistically what it's about. They're in a race. They basically see this out before I get to expose it. Like, I'm dealing with this 12 years, so realistically in another 12 years I'll be 60. So if they've done it for the first 12 years, they do it for another 12 years. The odds are they've only another couple of years, if I'm lucky to live that long, and then all of this will die with me. So it's important now that I start putting this information out there. And as I said, there's lots of documentation with this. And not only with the documentation, these people that I'm accusing, look at their input. And look at the input of certain people involved in this that I'm alleging. Like, if they didn't do anything wrong, would they not bring me to court? Do you know what I mean? There's a major drive at all costs to try and push me out of my home and out of my town in an effort to kind of stop this information going any further. And whereas they had it contained within Waterford, they knew I was going to go outside of Waterford. So now they got the kind of the likes of Waterford Freereaders, who would have kind of like a network up and down Ireland, Sinn Féin, tattoos. This is what was used in an effort to try and spread all this kind of sexual shit kind of that was put together by me ex and Anne Carey. And I'll talk about this at a later time, because it's a bit kind of crazy to say the least. And I think I'm going to leave it there, and we'll see where this is going to take us, I suppose. And if this is what I have to do now to get legal assistance in order to pursue the corruption involved in my case, so be it. It's not something I want to do. I don't have any mental health problems in any way, shape or form. I have no intention of doing anything criminal or endangering anyone, and I want to put that out there now, before it's alleged that I'm somehow kind of threatening or paranoid or some kind of bullshit. So I'll leave it there for now, and I suppose I'll be back. Thanks, bye.